Welcome to Cardano over coffee. Please remember to join us live on Twitter Spaces Monday through Friday, 1:30 p.m. UTC, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Remember to like and subscribe to YouTube and download our podcast on all major platforms. Today's guest is Turf, an NFT project with gorgeous cartographic art from real-world data. Earth is divided into squares. Each Turf square has its own owner. Collect places with meaning to you. Don't forget, we'll be at Rare Evo in Denver, Colorado, August 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets at rareevo.io. Use coupon code COC10 for 10% off. Let's get right into it with Turf.
Really, really excited to have you here today. Awesome project that has been present in the Cardano community for quite some time. I think since 2021 is when the first wave of Turf began. So I'm excited to hear a conversation with you today. And as is tradition many times on Cardano over coffee, you often ask, how do you take your coffee? Do you have a preferred preference when it comes to a morning cup of joe?
Yeah, I am very opinionated about my coffee. It's usually just black filter coffee. I always make my V60 at home, and whenever I can in coffee bars, I also order filter coffee, slow drip.
Slow drip. I'm a big fan of that. Have you ever tried Costa Rican or Vietnamese slow drip coffee?
I think I must have. I lived in Colombia for a while, so that's where I actually came to appreciate coffee even more.
I'd say Garm down there. Maybe send them a speaker.
He's connecting right now. Nice. So we have Turf and we have Garm in the house. I think he's trying to connect, so maybe we'll give him a second to begin. But very cool to hear your coffee preference experiences for sure. And again, really, really excited to have a conversation with you guys. I've seen you've been building in so many different directions over the course of the last few years here in Cardano. And excited to know if there's any updates or what the latest and greatest is in your kitchen for sure.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So you want me to start? Because there's so much news to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe at the beginning, as is another tradition on Cardano over coffee, we often ask people, what is your background? How did you come into Cardano in the very beginning to kind of give some context to where we are today?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So me personally, I came into the Cardano community because of Harm, my co-founder that just joined the call as well. He had a prior project on Cardano Space. Some of you might have heard of that. And so that was his NFT project. That was really in the early days of Cardano NFT. So really one of the OG projects, I think. And we were colleagues back in the day. And he started telling me about that, started explaining me about how the Cardano community works, what blockchain is, etc. And then I had this idea for cartographic art. I did this already 10 years ago for the first time for my hometown Rotterdam. I created an artistic impression of the map of Rotterdam, and I started selling that as canvas prints. And then at some point I thought maybe it's a cool idea to launch that as an NFT project as well. So that's how I approached Harm, and he said, totally, let's go for it. And Cardano was the obvious choice because he already had experience with it and very positive experiences with both the community and the technology, etc. So that's how we got into it. Harm, anything to add there?
I think Garm is down as a listener, I see on my end. Perhaps you might, what we call the Jenny Shuffle, as is another tradition of Cardano over coffee. We'll have to maybe leave the space and come back and then try and request speaker. I sent them a speaking invitation, seen them, so it looks like they're maybe up now. So Garm, can you hear us?
Yeah, he's also pinging me on Slack now, but I'll
hey y'all,
ask him to rejoin.
Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties. Did you ask me a specific question?
We were just talking about kind of the early beginnings of your journey into Cardano before you explained the latest and greatest of the project, but was also mentioning that you are the founder of Cardano Space, a classic on our block too.
Yeah. So I did that together with another friend of ours called Jasper. He's not involved with Turf, but that's basically how we got started back in the day. And we were telling Ralph about that journey, and then he showed us this really cool cartographic art project. And yeah, I just immediately thought that is so cool. We need to start building this. And now here we are.
That's amazing. I love it. And so with those great beginnings, now you've formulated this project called Turf, as I mentioned, have been in the space for a few years. So I guess Turf, take it away. Tell us the latest and greatest, or give us kind of the elevator elevator pitch version of what is Turf and what are you guys building towards right now in Cardano?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I'll give a super brief summary of what Turf actually is for the people that don't know us yet. So we are cartographic art. We have basically divided the world map into squares of 2 by 2 kilometers, and each square can be turned into this artistic impression of the street map of that specific location. So you can literally go to turfnft.com, click a square, and then start the checkout process, and you can see a preview of what your area would look like. And then, as I mentioned, each square is only for sale once, so it's truly non-fungible, truly one of a kind. Every square can only be sold once. And then what we basically ship whenever you buy our NFTs is a 3D interactive version, which is this cool card-like thing floating in space where you can interact with it, shuffle colors, play with art mode, bear mode, etc., which is really cool. And then you also get a high-resolution version that's ready for like large-size printing. So you can get your own prints because they do look beautiful on your wall, above your couch, in your office, wherever you want a memory of locations that you have a special connection with. And we also do printing ourselves. So we have worldwide printing and shipping service that we offer in the same checkout process as when you buy the NFT. So that's Turf. We've been building a lot in the past few months. We did the Cardano Summit collaboration. Some of you might have those or have seen them at least. The Cardano Summit NFTs. That's like a variety of our Turf NFTs, and we created them for the 52 locations where the community events / the main events were held of the Cardano Summit 2022, and that was just really cool. So since then we've done a couple more collaborations. We recently wrapped up a collaboration with UNHCR and the Cardano Foundation for the Paris Blockchain Week. That was like a purely a fundraising drop that we did there. That was really cool. And then on our main collection on the Turf website and interface, we did a lot of redesign. We made it truly user-friendly, the checkout process. We integrated, we have credit card payments right now, so you don't necessarily need any knowledge of blockchain or wallets or whatever, which is for some people quite technical. And with that, we really want to try to reach an audience beyond the Cardano community and even beyond blockchain. To basically, how do you say that? To try to get more general adoption of NFTs. Then there's another super important thing, which is royalties. That's really one of our visions that we had from the beginning. We think that turf art is interesting for many, many people. And I said every square is only for sale once. But what we offer if you buy the square is that you also get a license to use the imagery in any way you like. So it could be that you sell it to your local souvenir store that might be interested in selling it as postal cards, etc. But of course, if you own 1 or 2 turf squares, you might not want to go through the hassle of approaching your souvenir or your local shops, etc. So we are also really working hard on building a web shop where we are going to sell turf swag and prints and art for the people that own the turfs, and then on any product that's sold through our web shop, the owners of the underlying NFT will receive royalties. And that's a really novel mechanism that we've been working really hard on. We spend a lot of time together with our legal team, lawyers, and to sort that out. And that's finally happening somewhere in Q2. So that's really exciting as well.
That's an incredible overview. So many different things to unpack there. But I just wanted to real quick direct everyone's attention to the top at the pinned tweets that you can see appear. I was sharing some, and then Garm was nice enough to pin some up as well, so you can get the information on the royalties that you just mentioned, some new streamlined checkout experiences for individuals on your platform. In addition to that, the collaboration that you just mentioned during Paris Blockchain Week, I'm really interested to know a little bit more about that one, because it was with NMaker as well and friends at the UN, which is great. In addition, Garm also pinned up some printed versions of Turf that you can see, revamped website, and a number of other updates that are up there if you want to flip through the pinned tweets. But curious to know, how did the collaboration with the UN and NMaker come about? How has it been going? And what's the intention there, if people are curious to participate and support?
Yeah, sure. So this was an initiative from the UNHCR. They have a Swiss department that's really specifically looking into leveraging blockchain technology or Web3 technology for awareness raising, partly fundraising on the other side, of course. So their team is already connected to the Cardano Foundation through the stake pool, and I kind of forgot the abbreviation for that one, but so they already have a stake pool. They launched it in Q1 or late last year, I believe. And what the idea is that you can stake your ADA there, and all the margins, all the proceeds go directly to UNHCR for fundraising. So that's a really great initiative, and they were looking to take that one step further to also do NFT drops, and of which the proceeds go either into the stake pool or are directly deployed in the field where people need it the most. So we've been talking for months already with them, actually, to shape this collaboration, and it took a while before it took more concrete shape, but we met up together with UNHCR and the Cardano Foundation peeps and NMaker as well, by the way, at NFT Paris, which took place somewhere in February. And then they said, wow, we suddenly have this great idea for a Paris Blockchain Week. So then it was a matter of, I think, 2 or 3 weeks that we bootstrapped everything together, and we got this collection ready. And Maker was so kind to provide all the technology behind it for minting. It was, I think, it was a great success. It was definitely a pilot that we want to reproduce in other events as well in the future.
I love it. That's so awesome to hear. And just a point of clarification, because we live in a world of acronyms, what was mentioned is the UNHCR, and that's the UN, United Nations Refugee Agency. It's the national partner for Switzerland. So they have, in one of the pinned tweets, you can check out their Twitter profile and get more information about that. But we do have Epoch Pool with their hand up, so I want to pass the mic to them.
Awesome. I appreciate the idea here. This is cool. How do you guys determine equality of location? Because you mentioned once you mint, no one else can mint that exact spot, and is it like the block group level? Is it a city, town level? Like what is the zoom level that you can go that is
so unit? We basically the map of the Earth is divided into squares of 2 by 2 kilometers, which is like 1 point something miles, I guess, if you talk in miles. And that's the resolution that we operate at. So if you go to our website, you can clearly see the grid, and you see that some of them already filled in with the art. Those are the ones that are taken, and the ones that are still open are available for sale. So it's not really block level. I would say 2 by 2 kilometers is more like, if you have a small town would fit into it. For example, the inner city of Amsterdam, I think, would be 2 by 2, like 2 squares by 2 squares, or max 3 squares by 3 squares.
So how many NFTs total then for the whole Earth?
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's a totally different dynamic from other NFT projects that you might be used to. There's not really a limited supply. Well, there is, of course, because there's only so many squares that can fit the world, but it's a lot. I think we posted a tweet a while back, right? How many there were? I think it was like 50 million or something. But of course, a lot of that ocean or desert or not interesting to anyone. So the areas that are truly interesting for people that are into NFTs or cartographic art, it's fairly limited, of course.
And also you can get more than, like, you can get smaller, mediums, and bigger, right? So depends on that as well, right?
Yeah. So basically we have the squares, and you can also decide to what we call merge squares together. So you can also take an area of 2x2 squares or 3x3 squares. Or recently we added support for even up until 5x5 squares. And yesterday there was one of our community members who completed a 5x5, and we have a mechanism that you can buy single squares and then later on merge them, which essentially means
I didn't know that. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, you burn the underlying NFTs and then you recreate the new bigger one, and that happened yesterday for a 5x5 area. I think it was Key West. It's quite an epic piece of art as well, that one.
Wait, so you don't have like an estimate of what you're expecting? Like, what is the? I'm trying to gauge like the size of the collection. So I assume you guys have done some math on that, including like removing the oceans, right, in Antarctica.
Yeah, so I just pinned the tweet that has that information. We have 52 million squares in our database, but only 907,000 squares are in urban areas. And well, we see really that most people choose places that are in urban areas, but not necessarily. Because some people have minted the pyramids or Machu Picchu, for instance. So there's definitely a lot of them, but there's only a very limited set of Manhattan, for instance, or Paris or Rome. So I think, the dynamics are much less the entire collection and more what is sort of your local subset of the collection that matters to you. And I think we have quite some customers right now, and most of them don't necessarily buy it for reselling either. I think we have sort of a 50-50 split between people who think, oh, it's interesting to get the pyramids because that may have resale value later on, and just another 50% of people who are really buying it because they want the art of their hometown, for instance. I think we see different motivations for why people choose to mint turfs.
Thanks for that. I really appreciate the numeric answer. And I definitely see a lot of use cases for y'all. Like the location you met your spouse or girlfriend or whatever. Like the first restaurant that you're at. Like have that be the center.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're traveling,
that's almost verbatim on our website. So I love that. You get it. And maybe I think one thing that I don't think Ralph has touched upon yet is I'm also really excited about the collaboration with UNHCR for Paris Blockchain Week, as this is also a pilot for what I hope will happen much more in the near future. Is once this royalty program is running, we can also ask the community, hey, why don't you connect us to event organizers in your community or in your city or country, and then we do a turf times that event drop. We make some money off of that, and then you, as the actual owner of that turf, enjoy part of the proceeds in this royalties format, which I think could be huge if it works out well.
That's amazing. We have an additional hand up that I wanted to pass the mic to with Alpha Degen Phi. Welcome. Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, it's funny. I was listening to the space and I heard, Garm come up and I thought, I recognize that name. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk really on Garm's brand a little bit, because I was one of the early investors into the Cardano space, NFT, and I bought a 6x6, uploaded my Rhino, and, just a shout out to Garm, really, definitely a visionary, and definitely someone who I'm happy to sort of back and give that assurance to people in the space that may not be familiar. He's a great guy, stand-up guy, and, I'm excited to see what this project has to offer. And, the reason I wanted to come up really was because, in the space at the moment, there's a lot of, conservatism in the sense of, people not wanting to get rugged and this sort of thing. But yeah, just wanted to come up and, shout out Garm, great guy. I'm going to be taking a bit of a deep dive into the project. It sounds really good, and wish you all the best of luck.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, big shout out to you.
I've got a question.
Big shout out to you guys for building in so many ways. I've minted a few turfs myself. One question I have as a holder of the turfs, I know that there was an update that was available, I think maybe early last year, I forget when it was, but where I think you guys upgraded the GIF file that was like the thumbnail or maybe the main artistic asset that was on there. Is that still available for maybe people who minted in the first few rounds and still holding those older image files?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few updates we've done over the course of the past few months. One of them is indeed the GIF is a much higher quality now. So also if you browse JPEG Store, for example, and you see some of the earlier turfs, they have it's a very limited frame rate GIF. Doesn't look as nice, low resolution as well. So yeah, by now we've built a much better system that can generate GIFs in higher resolution, higher quality. And we're even looking to upgrade it even further, maybe in the next few months. So definitely, if you want to do that upgrade, what I recommend you to do is to go to turfnft.com. You can connect your wallet, and then you can upgrade your turf. So you can see an overview of all your turfs, and then click upgrade on each of them. And that will make sure that you get the latest assets.
That is so good to know, Nudes. Thanks for that. I did not know. I have an early turf. But now I'm like debating whether I want to upgrade or not, because, to keep the tradition, I have my Cardano space, the OG Cardano space that I never upgraded to, and it looks old. And maybe I'll just keep my old looking turf too. Who knows?
Yeah, it's for everyone to decide for themselves, huh? And the other upgrade that I want to highlight, if we're talking about upgrading anyway, is that we also added bridge support. Like in the initial algorithm to generate the turf art, bridges were not included. And I knew from the beginning that was kind of I don't know. Of course, bridges can be very iconic. People really relate to some bridges. And I knew that at some point we needed to show those on the map. So we finally found out a technical way to update the algorithm to add those to the maps as well. So if you own any turfs that you think, this is a cool river, but there's supposed to be bridges crossing it, then you can now do the same upgrade steps, and bridges will automatically appear in both the 3D interactive version as well as the print, the high resolution file. So that might be good to know as well.
So the new image looks more like the one on the summit?
No, so the color scheme is exactly the same. So it will be very familiar to you. It's just that we add, like for example, if there would be a bridge crossing, the turfs I own in Rotterdam, they used to have just the river flowing through. So you see just like the background color as the water flowing through the city. But with the bridge update I mentioned, you will also see in the brighter colors like the reds or the greens or the blues that are used in the turf art. You can also see the bridges like that. We might have a tweet that we can pin, because I'm sure we shared this news a while back.
Yeah, I just pinned a tweet, but the link that's in that tweet doesn't work anymore. So the direct link, ignore that. What you need to do is actually go to the turfnft.com website and just connect your wallet.
I love it. This is so exciting to see. And again, one that I've been following since the very beginning, seeing the early days of the Discord, the first round of mints when they're available, and then just so many other things that you guys are getting into. We have about 5 or 6 minutes before we transition over into our mid-roll and then invite our second guest. So I'm curious to know if there's any kind of call to action or takeaway messages that you'd like to share with the community as we move on into this Cardano weekend.
Yeah, good question. No, I think, as I said, we've been building a lot in the past few months, and now the time has come to make ourselves known to the broader audience as well. So literally today I started running some Instagram ad campaigns. We are going to reach out to design blogs, like interior design, but also technology-focused blogs, to really get our name out there. And our goal is really to break out of the Cardano bubble, because there's so many more people I think we can delight with the art, and we know that we hope that other people will relate to this as well. And one last thing I then can mention is that what Harm mentioned earlier, the event collaborations. If you know anyone or any event that might be interested in doing digital like giveaways, digital goodies, or collaborations with cool NFT projects like ourselves, please reach out, because that's definitely also what we're open to do in the coming time.
That's awesome. There's NFT NYC is next week, as we were mentioning at the beginning of this space. But then, looking kind of further down the line with respect to the Cardano calendar of in-person events, there's going to be Rare Evo happening at the end of August, as well as CNFTCon happening in September. And then, of course, we have our Cardano Summit happening this year in Dubai. So curious to know if you thought about any of those in-person events, maybe doing some collaborative or promotional experiences.
Yeah, for sure. And we're in talks with some of those, not all of them yet, but we'd definitely be open to them. Beyond just the traditional crypto and Cardano specific events, we're also really thinking very broadly tech events, or perhaps even smart cities events, or your local home goods or home design events. We've been talking with a lot of event organizers over the past weeks to sort of explore whether there is interest in doing these sorts of collaborations. And so far, we've been getting quite some positive results. So that's exciting, but we're always hungry for more. And we'd love to sort of, motivate the community and excite the community around getting NFTs more in the hands of regular people who aren't necessarily crypto savvy yet or NFT savvy yet. I think that's going to be a huge part of growing the NFT space in general, is like expanding beyond the existing ecosystem through giving freebies to people in all sorts of different contexts, and we'd love to make that happen.
That's amazing. I would definitely love to meet up with you guys at one of the in-person events, and I'm very eager to see the. I got to get a printed version for sure one day, because I love the art, I love the aesthetic, and just the overall kind of approach that you guys have taken has been really, really cool to see. So very, very glad that you could join us. If anyone else has any questions, you could feel free to request speaker. Hop up here if you want to get any info from the team as we wind on to our second half of the show.
I have a question.
Go for it.
I think you answered this last time you were on the space, but just refresh our memories again on how long these NFTs are supposed to last. What's your 50-year plan?
Right. I think at the time we didn't have a good answer, and now we still don't. I think we just have a budget with sort of pinning the files through EndMaker. But I'll ask Ralph whether he has a better answer to this since last time.
Yeah, this question was asked before. I should have prepared for this. No, I totally trust in Patrick Tobler. Like their IPFS integration is quite reliable. So I'm assuming it will be at least, what is it usually? 10 to 15, 50 years? I don't know. But if you want to make sure you don't lose them, just get a print and then you have your turf. It will last for 100 years. We print on museum-grade paper, so I would suggest that.
Yeah, print your turf. Don't FUD EndMaker so they don't go out of business.
So you said, yeah, exactly. So you said you use museum grade paper, like is it UV proof and all that stuff? You don't need to put any casing around it. How does it work?
Sorry, I missed that part.
No, like you said that for the printing, like is it like UV protected? You have to put a special case around it to make sure it just doesn't get ruined, or?
Yeah, well, so we do ship unframed because frame shipping is very costly, of course, because of the size. But it is the highest quality, museum grade paper. So it's like really the thick 200-gram paper. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those that terminology, but it's really, really good stuff. So if you frame that,
I wasn't sure if it was unframed. Okay.
It will be fine for at least 50 to 100 years. Really.
But
more than the NFT guarantee, more than the
exactly.
NFT. But I do think that museums would probably frame it behind glass. Pretty confident about that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like, sent with a frame or how was it? Yeah.
And
well, it's pretty cool.
And Newts, if you're not getting around to getting the turfs printed yourself, we can now actually, you can get a print through the turfnft.com website yourself. You just connect your wallet and then you click to buy prints for your existing turfs. We're trying to make that as easy as possible for you.
And I was going to ask about the royalties. Like, is that going to be like you have to opt in for that?
Yeah, so how it will work more or less is we will send you an email saying that it's live. Then you need to go through a identification process. And then we will review your information and then inform you whether you are an accepted royalty receiving individual. And that also comes with like a royalties agreement that you need to sign so that both of us are sort of fully clear on what the details of that program are. And then basically that is it. It's void if you move the NFTs out of your wallet, then you would need to re-identify yourself so that we can make sure that the owners of the actual NFTs are connected to the individual signing the agreement. That's the basic overview.
Neat, as Lido would say. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for coming up here again to share the progress of your project and all of the various things that you're doing. One of my favorite NFT collections on Cardano for sure. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, y'all.